We are strapping in for a really fascinating look at the engine room of 1930s cinema.
Yeah, our mission here is to analyze the sheer speed and, I guess, the incredible interconnectedness of the classic Hollywood studio system.
And we're going to use one specific film to do it, the 1935 mystery comedy Front Page Woman, as our anchor.
So we're looking at the people, behind and in front of the camera, the actors, the director, writer, cinematographer, all of them. We're going to do it by the numbers.
Right, but the goal here isn't just trivia. What we're trying to figure out is how this incredible volume actually worked as a system, especially at a powerhouse studio like Warner Bros.
Exactly. It's about knowledge transfer almost.
It is. This deep dive really shows how quickly that professional knowledge, that creative momentum, was generated and just applied in that movie factory environment.
Okay, so let's set the stage with the main statistic, the one that sort of puts everything in context. The year is 1935.
Get this. Warner Bros. Released 53 feature films that year.
53 in 1 year. That number is the backdrop for every single person we are about to discuss.
And this is where a film like Front Page Woman is so important. It proves this wasn't just about churning out disposable filler.
No, not at all. It was a good picture. The New York Times at the time actually praised it, said it had a clever script job, and was directed at a brisk pace.
So the factory wasn't just producing junk. It was producing rapid, efficient, and, quality entertainment.
So you have this great, fast-paced comedy, a real battle of the sexes movie starring two absolute staples of the era, Bette Davis and George Brent.
If the studio was a machine, they were like the premium reliable parts.
Which brings us to the big question for you, the learner. How on earth did stars like them sustain that unbelievable workload year in and year out?
Well, the output is truly shocking when you compare it to today, right? I mean, a major A-list star now might do one film every 18 months, maybe 2 years.
But Bette Davis, one of the greatest stars in history, in 1935 alone, she starred in 5 of those 53 Warner Bros. Films.
5.
Yeah.
In 365 days. And we're talking major releases.
Yeah.
There's Front Page Woman, of course, Special Agent, Border Town, Girl from 10th Avenue, and Dangerous.
And that's the thing. It was her role in Dangerous that won her the first of her 2 Career Academy Awards. So the system wasn't burning her out.
No, if anything, it was optimizing her talent rapidly.
And her co-star, George Brent, was even more of a workhorse.
Oh, he was. He released a staggering 7 films in 1935.
7?
Yeah.
That's almost one film released every 7 weeks. It's nearly incomprehensible.
It is. His list includes The Right to Live, Living on Velvet, Stranded, our film Front Page Woman, Special Agent, which he did with Davis the Goose and the Gander, and In Person.
And that pairing is so key to understanding how the factory worked. Davis and Brent, they starred in 11 films together total from 1932 to 1942. They were the ultimate working couple.
And there's an analytical principle there. The studio knew that by pairing them so consistently, they minimized 2 massive time sinks.
Rehearsal time and chemistry risk.
Exactly. They didn't need weeks to find a rhythm. They had this established guaranteed chemistry and a professional shorthand. They could just jump straight into a scene. It was a predictable, creative shortcut.
Efficiency through emotional familiarity. I like that.
Right.
So if the stars were the reliable parts, then the person directing the whole machine, he had to be the ultimate time management expert.
And that brings us to the man behind the lens, Michael Curtiz.
A legend.
Curtiz is basically synonymous with Hollywood productivity. He directed 102 films over his career.
And in 1935, that single year, he directed, what was it?
An unfathomable 6 movies.
6 fully released feature films directed by one person in 12 months. And look at the diversity. He did the drama Black Fury, 3 mysteries and comedies, including Front Page Woman.
The musical Go Into Your Dance, and he finished the year with the huge swashbuckler, Captain Blood.
Yeah.
The output is just relentless.
It is, but here's the twist. Despite that efficiency, or maybe because of it, his relationship with Bette Davis was famously strained.
Yeah, notoriously so. They worked together 7 times, including on later classics like Jezebel.
And yet she reportedly hated the experience. Her big criticism was that he cared too much about the camera, about the shot, and not enough about the actors. She felt like she came second to the lens.
That is the central tension of the factory system right there.
Yeah.
Davis was all about performance, about character. But the director's job in that machine was to deliver the product on time and make it look amazing.
So that meant standardizing the visual language, the shots, the lighting, the movement, just to get it in the can quickly.
Precisely. His focus on the camera wasn't a slight. It was a technical necessity for maximizing throughput.
And the numbers defend him, right?
Absolutely. Even if the actors felt ignored, his methods didn't hurt their careers. He directed 10 different actors to Oscar nominations over his career.
That's a huge point. It's like his standardized approach let these brilliant actors like Davis rely on their own polished habits without needing constant handholding.
The volume just fueled the quality. I mean, he directed some of the all-time classics. Adventures of Robin Hood, Yankee Doodle Dandy,
And Casablanca.
and Casablanca, for which he won his first Academy Award. So, yeah, his method delivered quality, not just speed.
Okay, unarguable quality. But that efficiency machine needed more than just a director focused on the camera. The crew had to be, what, like a well-oiled pit stop team.
That's a perfect way to put it. Which brings us to the cinematographer, Tony Gaudio.
The ultimate example of that depth of interconnection.
Yes, these weren't freelancers. They were contracted workers who just moved from one film to the next, building that necessary shorthand.
In 1935, Gaudio photographed 8 movies. 8. That's more than Brent and Curtiz.
He was part of that essential core. He shot 3 of Michael Curtiz's 6 films that year, including Front Page Woman. He was also Bette Davis's favorite cinematographer. He worked with her on 11 films.
Wait, 11? That's the exact same number of films she made with George Brent.
Perfect symmetry. It shows you how consistent the internal system was.
So he's shooting Border Town with Davis, Little Big Shot with Curtiz, and our main film, Front Page Woman, with everybody.
And what that repetition meant, technically, was that they didn't need big pre-production meetings about lighting. They had a shared visual language, standardized setups, that classic dramatic Warner Bros. Look.
Which let them start rolling faster than anyone else.
Exactly. The efficiency wasn't magic. It was standardized knowledge transfer. And Gaudio was so good at it, he eventually won an Oscar for Anthony Adverse in 1936.
Okay, so we have the stars, the director, the camera crew. Now let's talk about the foundation of the whole factory, the script.
And our sources point to Laird Doyle, the essential writer of this mid-30s era.
The unsung hero.
Totally. Doyle matched Curtiz's pace, writing 6 films for Warner Bros. In 1935.
But it's his connection to the stars that's so crucial. He wrote 4 of Bette Davis's 5 films that year.
Including Bordertown, Front Page Woman, Special Agent, and the Oscar-winning Dangerous. The quality of her output was directly tied to his.
So how did he write them so fast?
Well, Doyle was a master of that crisp, high-speed dialogue and the tight 3-act structure the studio loved. He delivered scripts that were basically film-ready.
Which eliminated the biggest drag on production, costly on-set rewrites.
That's the real insight. The speed wasn't about cutting corners. It was about flawless execution upstream.
But Doyle's story is also a bit of a tragedy, isn't it?
It is. His impact was huge, but it was cut short. He died suddenly in a plane crash in 1936. It just shows you the high-risk, high-turnover nature of that whole environment.
So we've tracked the A-list talent and the indispensable crew. Let's complete the picture with someone who connects this 1935 factory to, well, almost the entire history of cinema.
The consummate character actor, Roscoe Carnes.
The ultimate connector.
Character actors are the ultimate proof that the studio system was this deeply woven, efficient tapestry. They specialize in these reliable, small but critical roles.
Carnes was in Front Page Woman, and he made 6 films total in 1935. The man just never stopped working. His credits are insane, something like 150 movies and over 300 TV episodes.
And if we connect him to the wider film canon, this is where the 1935 output links directly to the DNA of American comedy.
Right. Roscoe Carnes was in It Happened One Night in 34.
His Girl Friday in 1940 and Woman of the Year in 1942. I mean, these are some of the most famous films ever made.
And here's the synthesis nugget. The Carnes connection doesn't even end with Roscoe.
No, it's generational. His son, Todd Carnes, went on to play James Stewart's brother, Harry Bailey, in It's a Wonderful Life.
Wow, in Frank Capra's classic.
It's continuity forged in the fires of the factory. Father and son even later played detective partners on a TV show, so this deep dive confirms it.
Yeah.
The 1935 Warner Bros. Output created this tightly linked, almost professional family of Davis, Brent, Curtiz, Gaudio, Doyle, and Carnes.
So what's the big takeaway here for you, the learner? When you watch a film like Front Page Woman, you aren't just watching 90 minutes of entertainment, you're holding the epicenter of this massive production network.
The numbers are just staggering. A single film connects you to 53 studio releases, 5 Bette Davis films, 7 George Brent films, 6 Michael Curtiz films, all in 1 year. Understanding that pace helps you appreciate the industrial engineering behind the Hollywood magic.
And this level of intense, non-stop collaboration, it clearly led to some legendary, if strained relationships, like that famously difficult partnership between Bette Davis and Michael Curtiz.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating thought. Given the relentless pressure of making 6 films a year, constantly moving, constantly creating, we have to wonder what creative benefits might have emerged only from that kind of nonstop, intense professional conflict.
You mean, was the friction necessary?
Exactly. Was that tension actually a catalyst for genius? Did it sharpen the edge of their best work? That's something interesting to think about the next time you watch a classic.